Hello, everyone. This is Andreas Pop Culture Guy. Yeah, that's my title name on the other channel. Of course, this is the spectacular Marvel Plus talk. Will and I are back again to discuss the episode 3 and 4 of Secret Invasion. And of course, briefly, the second trailer of the Marvels. This came out this week because of Comic Con, which I totally forgot it was Comic Con this week, but whatever. Um,
hmm
Yes, for good reasons. But yeah, so Will, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm very excited to. I think after what you say, about scheduling, I think I'm kind of happy because the situation is. Oh my god! I thought we were heading in the right direction, and then episode 4 crossed
hmm
the line, and I did not believe that we really went there, and
Yeah, I know.
yeah. So I was hoping we could have a great podcast, but instead we got a great episode for 3, and then 4, the most overwhelming episode
hmm
so far of the series. But it's not as bad as episode 5, but we'll get to that soon or later in life. But anyway, but yeah, so of course, I mentioned the Marvels. Let's kind of get to the Marvels first, and then we'll discuss Secret Invasion a little bit later.
Sure.
Um, yeah, so the Marvels second trailer came this week. I think it dropped around Thursday or Friday, something like that, around uh, the Pacific Eastern, something like that. For Comic Con, Comic Con was on last week from Wednesday to Sunday. That was like the days that they have it usually.
hmm
And they had their presentations, like we got story trailer for the PS4 Spider-Man, uh, which I forgot that we could definitely done that in a way. But that story trailer for PS4 Spider-Man 2, amazing, love it. I'm excited for that game.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and yeah, and then just confirmation and you know the upcoming stuff that is coming in the near future. So yeah, which I will discuss that more in the another podcast that I'm in as a guest. So we'll discuss that more, particularly the Walking Dead stuff. But anyway, yeah. So the Marvels. I think for everyone I know, especially the podcast I'm in now, we did not like the first trailer. Right? I think we didn't like the first trailer. It
Yeah.
was
Yeah. I wasn't blown away by it.
right. So I felt like I felt like it was a okay trailer, typical Marvel flair with '90s song I from the Beastie Boys. Um,
hmm
so and then this second trailer I thought was much better. I thought the second trailer was much better. I'm a bit more cautious about the outcome of the film, but I thought this was a much better trailer. I think we got more idea of the story they're gonna present in this film. Because I like that we got more of the villain and got more of the confirmation of the Bengals. So that
hmm
was kind of cool to see, and it was kind of cool to see some of the interactions with some of our leads here. Seeing more of Carol Danvers a bit more. That was the issue with the first teaser. Like she had like one or two dialogue. Here we saw a bit more of that with Brie Larson, so that was good. But overall, I thought it was a decent trailer, better than the first. But I wasn't. I'm not like wild about this film, especially now with Secret Invasion. It's like, oh, okay. So anyway, what was your thoughts on the second trailer?
Yeah. I don't know. It didn't really change my opinion on the movie or my desire to see the movie.
Mhm.
So yeah. Um, I don't know. It's
Mm.
the first movie. Like really wasn't. Like it was fine, but it
Yeah,
wasn't like my favorite. And the sequel isn't really showing that it's going to be a marked improvement. So,
yeah,
um, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'll
yeah,
probably end up seeing it, but
yeah. Yeah, we will. I mean,
yeah.
at some point. I guess my question is, do you think it's because they're really pushing the female aspect very hard in this trailer. You know, because that was something my one of the hosts brought up in we did a trailer reaction the second trailer. He brought up there's like because they're really pushing hard on the three leads, and then we got a female, villain here. So I'm kind of wondering is that aspect kind of bugging you?
No, I didn't really
Okay.
think about. I guess I didn't really think about it. It just seemed like normal, like what I was expecting.
Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
I because I'm curious because you cannot tell if they're pushing that hard because I mean it's hard for me where we're gonna take these characters and also like where is this gonna fit in the multiverse saga thing, right?
Mhm.
Because now we got the Bangles and I'm hearing some leaks that we're probably gonna connect this to the multiverse saga. So, especially if we know how the Bangles work, especially Miss Marvel, I think it kind of seems very clear what we're doing with it,
Mhm.
So I'm very curious where we're going to do that. But one thing, I actually wasn't thinking about this. A host brought this up. I don't know if he knows this, but it is weird. I know I'm fine with the team up of these two girls. Kamala Khan and Monica Rambeau with Carol. But he brought up something that was kind of funny because I didn't think about it. But it's the powers displacement with these characters.
Mhm.
It's very weird because you got Carol that's being very high powered, like she's OP level of superhero, and then you got Kamala and Monica's power. Powers are being slowly manifest with them, but they're kind of weird to team up with Captain Marvel because how are their powers useful? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very dispirited that we got these two powers that doesn't make sense with Captain Marvel and her powers, right?
Mhm. Right.
I don't know if you had that frown when seeing that trailer because I didn't think about that until you brought that up.
Yeah, it does seem very disproportionate.
Yeah, that's what the word you'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I definitely see that. I would agree with that.
Yeah, because it was just fun. It was funny when Monica was trying to explain the powers, and when we got to her, it was like I can see light, and I was like, okay, what? like,
We can
how?
all see light.
Yeah, what that's supposed to be?
Yeah.
That cracked me up. Now I was like thinking through her what it was saying with these powers. It's like yeah, and then it just has more questions about Kamala's powers too. Like if she's gonna lose that bangle, which we know she's a mutant, right? It's like
Right.
I, it's like are we gonna get her traditional powers after this?
I mean, I would like that, but I don't.
Yeah,
I don't think that's what's gonna happen.
I'll bet money that they weren't gonna do that, and they just overcomplicate her origin story.
Yeah.
As usual. So I don't know. I just find it very funny that they're doing that. Um. Uh. Then. What else that was kind of. I guess I'm very concerned about the Secret Invasion tie-in. Like
Hmm.
I don't think this series is going to be as important into the Marvels at all. Just the way we're seeing Nick in the trailers is
Hmm.
kind of concerning to me. You know?
Yeah. No. Yeah. It feels like it's not gonna. It feels like the show isn't really gonna mean anything.
Yeah.
Unless the movie takes place before the show. But
Oh my god. I I guess so. I mean, you could explain that, but then that's just so bizarre. To well, not bizarre, but kind of understandable. They move it because of
hmm.
the pressure they having. So, which is kind of sad because this movie was supposed to be in July. Actually, this week. Actually, this next week. This Friday it was supposed to open, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Haunted Mansion took over its, I think, release date.
Okay.
So, so it's kind of sad that it did got pushed because it made more sense to maybe release it this time. But I don't know. We have to see when we get to November uh, of this year. But yeah. So anything else to say about the trailer? I think we covered everything, right?
Yeah, I think we did.
All right. Sorry. So you know, just I'm gonna chop this up to pieces as a podcast so you can hear this trade discussion separately. But now let's get into Secret Invasion. That's the nitty gritty of this podcast. Okay. So what's your opinion on episode 3, Will, and episode 4? Like,
I liked episode 3.
good.
Yeah, I liked. What's his name? Kingsley Benadir.
Oh, the villain? Oh, wow. Okay.
I really liked his performance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the first couple episodes, I wasn't sold on him, but then, I think episode 3, yeah, was the one where was it 3 or 4?
Episode 3 is where the museum is at.
Okay, yeah, that's the scene I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, his performance in that scene was really strong.
Mm-hmm.
Like he really felt menacing, and you could like see the like hatred in his eyes. It was really good. Yeah. And then Olivia Colman continues to be the best part of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the dialogue is like, it's better than normal Marvel stuff, but it's still not like great. But then every delivery that she gives is just perfect. Like she really elevates the script that she's working with.
Oh yeah, she does. She's literally the best thing about episode 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you get to episode 5, it's like she's the one that stole the show for that episode for me.
Yeah.
And everyone else. Yeah. Yeah. Oh god, Olivia Colman. Like, well, and I gotta say, I mean, Olivia Colman. I think she's the like only actress that's like committed to this series. Like she's doing everything as an actress, which is so impressive. You know?
Yeah. Well, I've seen interviews with her where she like really wanted to be in a Marvel thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think she's just like having fun with it because she knows this is her like chance to be a part of it. Or other people feel like they're kind of phoning it in a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. Or I think for some, they just don't have the time to really shine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
yeah.
I guess for me right now, seeing episode 5 for me, it's definitely Emilia Clarke. She's so underused in these 2 episodes for 2 and 4. You know what I mean?
Yeah, such a big name, and then yeah, she's got very little to actually do.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. Like, I don't know if I think my friend, one of the hosts and I are reviewing The Walking Dead. That's it. And we had a moment where we actually were on the same page where we agreed we need more episodes, like at least 8 episodes at least to tell the story for that show. And it cracks me up that this show is literally the same thing. It's like we need more episodes to tell the story. I don't think the 6-episode format is really working for that still.
No. Yeah, I mean I think this should have been like an entire phase. I think we talked about this last time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it should have been much more of an event.
Yeah.
In the Marvel universe.
Yeah, I agree. That or like I feel like especially episode 5, not spoiling episode 5 at all, but like with the direction we're taking with Nick, I feel like this should have been more of a Talos story
Mm-hmm.
and theory story, really,
Yeah.
right? Because I agree with you that why we're telling the situation with Nick, or like in general the story right now, I feel like it just feels like we have two big stories that we're telling, and it's like meshing up like typical MCU movies. When you
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's like Love and Thunder, like the issue with Love and Thunder, it was like they were smashing two major Thor arcs, right?
Right.
Yeah, the Chain, Cancer, the Mighty Thor, and then of course the guard picture storyline. Oh my god, uh,
Mm-hmm.
it was like how I mean, like I mean, the third Thor had two major storylines, but they somehow managed that better than Love and Thunder. But I don't know, it's just. I feel like this was I think it's having an issue where you got the secret invasion, then you got this like Nick getting back to the swinging thing storyline that we're getting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like kind of easily done like a grounded Nick Fury show where he just like a grounded thriller.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't need the sci-fi stuff at
Right.
all.
Yeah. It didn't have to be about the scrolls.
Yeah, yeah.
Could have
Oh my
just
god.
been like Agents of Shield, but with a bigger budget.
Yeah. Oh my god. Please. Yes, I know. Yeah. Like I don't know. It's like I feel like them just getting rid of Shield was a huge mistake.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like you need Shield, or get just take Nick to Sword or something like that. But it's just weird now. It's just
Yeah.
um,
It's weird.
yeah. So it's just very weird. Um. So speaking, I brought up Talos. I guess let's get into the really big positive for episode was really Talos. Ben Mendelsohn. He is a great actor. Love
Mm-hmm.
him still. He really stole the show for episode 3 and 4. Uh, when we get to that horrible moment that they killed him off, I was so pissed. Pardon my French. And I've been repeatedly saying this in the Secret Invasion podcast we've done with the MCU Bleeding Edge. Check it out, guys. Um, I say F you, Secret Invasion. How dare you cross this line for me? Get rid of this character I love. And then I was just so shocked that they kill off Talos like that. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it was horrible. And episode 5, they did address it, which was good. But I think so far for me and some of the hosts that we were discussing episode 5, it felt very dirty compared to Marie Hill. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. It's really ridiculous. Um, but yeah, what do you think about Ben Mendelsohn? I mean, he's great. I mean, that when we got to the museum thing, which
Mm-hmm.
we saw in the trailer, like Ben Mendelsohn really gave that scene gravitas, and like he's the reason I love that scene so much.
Yeah, he was really good in it.
Yeah. Oh my god, it was so good. I mean, when Gravik starts to talk about the daughter, that was when he really like snapped and just.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then you see the multiple graphics. It was like, oh, I see, I get it now. This is something. It was so perfect. Um, but it was kind of funny. Like Gravik had now the super soldier, like not super soldier. I'm sorry, super scroll powers, and Talos still beat him to his butt. Really, like he stabbed, like he put a knife on his hand, and like so quickly, like how can you like not kill Talos? You know?
Yeah, well, I think he wasn't trying to kill Talos in that moment,
Yeah, I know that, but
but
I just find it funny he allowed that. It's like you're the leader of this rebellion. Like you should be more badass. You know?
yeah, yeah,
That's what I'm saying. It was just funny. It's like oh, and the way he moved was so quick. I was like, whoa, he choked him, and then like before he did the knife thing, it's just like wow, that was fast.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, you know, but I agree with what you're saying, Will. It's kind of funny. He didn't react so fast and try to think to protect his reputation as this uprising leader. You know.
Right, yeah,
Um, but yeah, so picking back episode 3, um, I think it was really good to have more. Like the thing I liked about episode 3 was how they developed more Talos and Beer's relationship.
Mm-hmm.
More. We got a little bit in the first 2 episodes, and I really like the buddy cup um, type of episode of this. Like you really see how like Talos, despite he has his way of handling the spy stuff, he still is loyal to Nick, and like he still sees the potential of Skrulls being in peace with the humans,
Mm-hmm.
and he tries desperately to balance that out with his people, and then with the side of Nick and his human side, and then others around Nick. Um, and I think that really really works well with the whole scroll expansion. If we continue more with the scroll stuff in the later phases, we got a lot of content now with that. Because at the Talos side, we got Nick's wife and Gaia that was played by Emilia Clarke. So like we at least we have a very strong foundation moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
With the whole squirrel race and their placement of being accepted as people, in Earth. So that is really good. But I I guess the best moment with Talos was him talking to the dogs. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I think that's one of the best dialogue ever from Benson saying that. It's like, oh, I hate dogs. Why we have to carry poo. And all of that. And number two, I
Mm-hmm.
I that's one of those funny things, and I can never imagine actors saying that, but Ben Mendelsohn sells that really well, so it's great. And then I'm trying to figure out that this is where we get yeah, this is where we get the meat locker scene with
Mm-hmm.
Olivia Colman. So like
Yeah.
that's another example of Olivia Colman doing great. Like when she entered in, and the guy, he has to check. She was cleared to do her torture scene, and it was just funny that she asked about the escape entrance. I was like, why she asked that? I thought she was a scroll at first
Uh-huh.
when she was asking, but then I didn't realize she was like asking just in case, the betrayer, the scroll infiltrator, people will probably get him. She got the exit quickly before she will be compromised. So that was like a cool way. That like was probably the most smartest thing a person has done in life for me in the TV and movie universe. So that was really good. That I was very surprised we got that early. We locked her thing, but that's cool.
Yeah.
Um,
That was well done.
yeah. The big thing that happened with episode 3 was the Nick's wife. We know from episode 2 was the scroll, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think about what we did with her in these 2 episodes? Do you like it? You wish we did more with her? Like, what's your opinion on Nick's wife?
Yeah. I think they could have done more with her. Like, I don't know. It feels like there should be so much emotional weight between like
Mm-hmm.
the two of them and how their relationship is impacted by like Nick Fury's lifestyle and then her being a Skrull and like her betrayal. But because we just found out about her, like at the
Yeah,
end of episode 2, or was it
yeah, yeah.
episode 2 or 3?
Episode 2 we got introduced with her.
Okay, yeah,
3 is here.
but
We'll learn more about her.
right. I don't know. Like we should have. I feel like it would have more emotional impact if we had known about her for like a long time. Like that's my big problem with the show in general is that the betrayal of like someone secretly being a scroll, like that reveal is only really dramatic if it's someone that we've been like following for a while.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so yeah, I feel like so much of this show is just missing that like sense of like there's no, it doesn't feel like there's really emotional stakes because it's all a bunch of characters that we've never really seen before.
Yeah.
Well, or at least like haven't spent a lot of time with.
Yeah, time with. Yeah, I think my big issue is just not. I brought this up in the podcast that there just isn't enough room to breathe the moments and fully develop these these personal themes for our characters. You know, so like the two major deaths we have in the series, Marie Hill and Talos, and episode 4. If we had a bit more time in these action scenes and like see Fury talk about more about it, and then it could have made the series be more better. But I feel like we're juggling with way too much things in these episodes, and we're sacrificing a lot of action and like suspension and just like plot over characterization and character driven arcs for these characters, and just the hour, like that's something we have to bring out is that I thought because episode 3 and 4 we were losing a lot more time. Episode 3 was 39 minutes, and then episode 4 was even shorter. I think, and at first I was like, oh, okay, because I thought episode 3 we're heading in the right direction. It's like, okay, if they have shorter time, they can be more focused and then they can be successful. But nope, episode 4 they completely dropped that. Like it was again the issue with all these Disney Plus shows. When we get to a certain point, they like lose focus and like they are struggling with some of these storylines because they don't have time to really spend on that, and that's where it takes an issue, like I mean, yeah, episode 4, like we all knew, Rhodey was going to be a Skrull after episode 2, right? If you pay attention, like I knew when this episode 3, when someone always say something to Fury, when you call Fury, like he knows that you're the real person, but no one calls him Nick, and that's a red herring. So with the fact that Rory calls him Nick, it was like, okay, he used to be a Skrull, and then it confirmed that in episode 4, and that's the issue with like it's weird because I think what I don't like about the show with the Skrull stuff is they reveal too early that these people are Skrulls. Like if you didn't catch episode 2 when that episode was ending, there was a quick shot of a Skrull cutting like those green beans, and that was Nick's wife before she turned into her cover form.
Right.
And so like why did you did that? It was like you don't need that shot of.
Yeah. Like, well, I guess it wasn't supposed to be a twist.
Yeah,
like, she was a Skrull, but
yeah, but that's the same issue with Rhodey. Like when
Rhodey, it was bad.
Yeah, like my like none of the hosts realized that we saw that Skrull transform into Rhodey right away after the shower because it was so quick. It was just so bizarre. Like the editing in this show is really bad because when we I mean this is I mentioned Talos' death. Like just it's not a spoiler thing. It was gonna happen anyway. Like Gaia gets something from Nick to get the body of Talos to like get a proper burial. Burial, right?
Yep.
When you see episode 5, they do something where I don't like about movies TV. They don't show you how she gets the body. It's just very quick, and like we get to the next shot where she's in a van and we see the body, like the corpse, and like no explanation. Oh, it's like it's so bad. The show is really bad at just not like setting up these scenes or getting to these points like A and B, like in like organically,
Right.
and it's just so bad. I just I hate that. So yeah, and I like it's weird. Like Winter Soldier did a good job of being Pern, right? Like we didn't know who was Hydra agents. Like I mean, you kind of get a sense Pierce was agent, until like he went to Soldier and killed his Nandy, or
Right.
his, you know, um, Senator Stern from Iron Man 2, like when he was talking to Stitwell, right? And he comes close and he say hi Hydra, like that was such a big deal. Right? Like
Yeah. It was. It was such a great reveal.
yeah, and I feel like we need more. Like I feel like this show shouldn't look at Winter Soldier and how you deal with these infiltration. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they just didn't do that right in the show.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, so that's the biggest problem with the show is it's just like they barely attempted that. It's like we
Mhm.
already know where we're going. So, yeah, yeah. I guess uh let's get into the death of Talos. Um, that was a big thing in episode 4. Um, like by the way, I mean episode 4 it was like basic, like we got the reveals. Rhodey being a scroll was not a big deal, but I will say Don Cheadle is having a great time. Like I actually do like him as a scroll. Just the way him and Jackson go back and forth is hilarious. And I thought initially, Nick did something to his drink, and like tried to maybe kill him by his drink, but no, it was like he just put like a liquid tracker to just track him where he was going.
Right, which is
Yeah,
not a thing, but
yeah, yeah. Very like, there's no way that could work with that. But hey, it's fictional stuff.
yeah, but that's
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
yeah. I just love you brought that realistic aspect. It's like it's not gonna work. It's like
but like what are you?
yeah,
What in a liquid is gonna like? It's not like there's like a computer chip in a liquid.
yeah,
Like that's not.
yeah. It's
Nothing
definitely.
is small enough to.
Oh god. I
I
mean,
don't know.
nanites, right? Like I like had to have nanites, right?
I get, yeah, like I'm sure there's some hand wavy comic book
Thing.
thing, but
Yeah.
like it could have just been he like snuck some microchip somewhere. They like put it on his clothes or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
It didn't have to be a liquid tracking device.
Oh, all right, all right, all right. It worked for me, but I mean, it's very silly. If you think about it, really hard. I guess my thing was like I guess like what they're gonna do, track Roy, and then they know about the attack, right, to the
hmm
president,
hmm
and that makes sense. But that wasn't like that at all when we got to that scene. Um, but yeah, but overall that was good. Like the beginning part, like the first part of episode 4 was really strong, and then until we got to the action part of um the ambush, right? And it's actually a really good action scene. I actually really liked it. Like seeing Gravik using his super scroll powers was well done. I think the special effects here are really good in the show. Like I don't have a problem with the effects at all.
Yeah, yeah.
So like I especially it was really horrifying to see Talos getting shot and like you seeing half his human form and slash scroll at
hmm
once. Like that was like so cool.
Yeah, it was done really well. Good prosthetic work.
Yeah, it was really good. And then just him trying to get the president out was like really like so like sad to see. It's just like he's trying to bounce it, but trying to break the glass. It was terrifying. Um, so then Nick got the president. The car. By the way, his car was cool. I liked it was remote control. Very, very James Bond. Um, and oh god, this part I was so shocked. It really knew something was wrong, and that was like it was Gravik. Gravik was holding Talos, and then Talos, of course, he formed his like kind of blade flute thing and stabbed Talos, and then of course Nick saying no very dramatically. His friend dying, shoots multiple times at Kravik, but no results. Like, come on, dude. You know he took the super scroll thing, right? It was ridiculous. And then he just stands there. Like, he didn't do anything. He didn't go and get towels. And like, like that was the thing that bothered me. Was that like I was like, oh my god. And then we got this like short, quick scene of just seeing the dead body Talos laying there, and then cut and credits. And it's like, what? Like, are you effing kidding me? Are you? Pardon my French. Fucking kidding me? Did you do this to me? Like, I was like, fuck you, Secret Invasion. I took them in for an actor in the screen. I was like, F you. I was like, oh my god. This was so unnecessary. So they killed Talos. And I gotta say, I don't know what they're gonna do with these two deaths. Like, people are bringing up that maybe that Marie Hill and Talos could come back, but I just have this feeling they're not coming back, really.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they would.
Well,
but
I mean,
there's always some
thing.
Yeah, but
yeah. I mean, I say life mile decoy, like that explains everything, right?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, it could. I mean, we had a reference that in the Avengers. That was really it. And then I mean, if you haven't seen Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., like we dealt with that with over 2.5 seasons. It's like, come on. Yeah. So, what's your opinion on Talos' death? I hated it. I was so shocked that they did it. I go ahead. Just go, please.
I think I'm in the same boat.
Okay.
Yeah, it just really. It felt like it came out of left field. It felt wrong. It felt like they didn't really give it enough weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Just so much about this show feels like rushed almost. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah, like so many of the plot points feel like they really needed more time to be developed to have the weight that the show seems to think they have.
Yeah. I mean, like I don't know what the show is still. Like, I mean, the other Disney Plus shows, like, I'm just having a tough time. Like, I'm just trying to remember, like, okay, I'm just looking at the running times, for these episodes. Like, so, like I, like Moon Knight, like WandaVision and Loki, and like the first half of the Disney Plus shows did a really good job hitting their plot points correctly.
Right.
No matter what you thought about the episodes, like Loki episode 3, with the Sif, not Sif, I'm sorry, Sylvie and Loki in the train and then something, or the first two episodes of One Division, episode 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like despite it was like getting into the sitcom, like it was setting up something before we get to episode 3, where it really got you into the weird stuff of One Division,
Right.
right? And then Loki, what Hawkeye? I mean, with the Kingpin stuff, like they were like did something with that, and that was a big deal. I'm just, I just feel like this is like peak my numbers, like kind of setup, like it seems like Kravik wants to destroy the Earth, really, like
Mm-hmm.
let the Skrulls take over, and I understand what you're saying with Kravik's performance. I like that performance, but like I don't like the character at all. Like
Yeah.
not like you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. The performance is better than the writing, and
Yeah,
like, yeah.
I, I really, I mean, Ben Kinsley, he's a really great actor. I like him too. I mean, he's great in the OA in season 2. He's really great there. And
Mm-hmm.
uh, if you watch the Regina King's film One Night in Miami, he's really great there. Um, I there was potential in his villain here, but I'm just not more. I'm not really invested in his plan at all. Like
Yeah.
like it's so typical, and I feel like him being the Emily was the wrong direction. I feel like he should be more the Emily for Talos than Nick Fury, because it
Mm-hmm.
affected more Talos more. So I don't know. It's just because like everything he has done so far, he hasn't affected. Like I get, because someone brought up this in the podcast about Nick. Like I get Nick is very close off character. He acts very cool,
Mm-hmm.
and he doesn't show too much his emotions. But at the same time, I feel like the show hasn't really dived in Nick psychologically, right? And
Right.
like, and that's where I'm feeling more distant with Nick in the show than any of his appearances in the MCU so far. So I don't understand where his behavior. Like I get the blip changed him, but it should be more than that, right?
Right.
Like you think that the Thanos, like the Avengers splitting up, should be more of like his issue. Like he could have been there to maybe keep the Avengers together. That they couldn't stop Thanos, right?
Mm-hmm.
I I think there should be more than the blip. Like he's been on 5 years and it's hopeless and all that.
Yeah. And there's he really does feel like a fraction of the character that we had before.
Yeah, yeah, and he's gonna be like that again in the Marvels.
Right.
Like he's probably going to be more of the Captain Marvel Nick than probably this version we're seeing right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be weird. It's very weird, and that's always the issue with the MCU. It's like it's sometimes they nail consistently with characters' personality,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes they so want struggle with their development and personalities. Like we see this with Thor, uh, Doctor Strange, and now Nick. I mean, Nick
Mm-hmm.
has been like this since day one, fortunately. So yeah. And I guess just kind of quickly wrap up things. Speaking of Gaia, she got killed in episode 3, and it was like very quick. Like her, like I thought it was cool they killed her off initially, and
Mm-hmm.
then in episode 4 they explained that she took the extremis formula, and like that's how she survived. So I was like, oh, okay. So that was a quick thing. I was surprised he didn't took all the Super Scroll stuff for her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was kind of wondering why you didn't do that. You could easily be more powerful than Rabbit. Uh,
Yeah.
fighting. So
Yeah. It felt just like convenient for plot reasons to not give her the superpowers.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah,
yeah, like logically, that feels like what the character would have done and should have done.
yeah. Like
Um,
you should know that at that point that he got
right.
older. So yeah. Um. Yeah. So yeah, we're in a very low point of the series. Um. Episode 5 is okay. I don't think episode 4 is the worst, but it's like at least decent, but it just crossed the line. Episode
Hmm.
5 very boring. Like, and I say they trying to explain this thing that they brought up because this is something that Gravik wants. He started to say the harvest by any chance in these episodes. Um, because like he brings up the harvest, and that's going to be an important thing in episode 5,
Hmm.
and that's something he wants from Nick, and it was very funny. And this is the worst part of it in the next episode. It's very much an expedition to set up the finale, and it's like, oh my god.
Yep.
Yeah, the only great thing was Olivia Colman. She's as we've been saying so many times, like Olivia Colman's there. She's having a great time, and like she's the best thing about this show, and she's leading the best thing about episode 5. So
Yeah.
yeah, so you at least can enjoy the episode. Uh, she has great moments. So that's 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 the Sonya worse something, man, whatever her name is. But yeah. That's Secret Invasion. Anything to say, Will? Secret Invasion 3 4. I think we covered everything.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Well, thank you, Will, for coming today. To talk about Secret Invasion and the trailer from the Marvels. Um.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And yeah. So I guess just a brief update. Our schedules are going to be a little tough to come back to do podcasts, everyone. So me and will come back in indefinite for a podcast, but not. I'm not confirming it's going to be in 2 weeks or we'll come back. It will just it's going to be a longer time to come back. So because both of us have are very busy in life and our jobs and whatnot. So it's gonna be difficult for us to get together and podcast. But no worries. There's a lot of content still and the channel is just watch for that. But yeah, but I just want to say thank you, Will, for joining me today. It's always a pleasure discussing these TV shows and movies with you. It's always been a blast.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's always been nice talking to you, seeing what you think about these movies.
Yep. And yeah, and I cannot believe it. Summer is almost over. I mean, halfway July. Uh,
Yeah, time is flying.
yeah, I cannot believe like oh my god, I can't believe it's August. My birthday is coming up.
Hmm.
Many more family friends' birthdays coming up. It's too much. Yeah, well, some of them are lucky because my birthday's on a Monday. So yeah, so yeah, it's so bad. It's like oh my god, why that day? So my birthday's on a Monday. It's like it could have been Wednesday or Thursday, Friday. I don't know, Saturday or Sunday. No, Monday for this year.
Yeah, it's always the worst.
Yep, the worst. Anyway, so yeah, but thank you everyone to listen to this podcast. Maybe we'll come back indefinite to do another podcast. Just watch out and yeah, have a good week, everyone. Bye bye.